Hello Stampers, how are you today? I am here to show you how to make this adorable card. You know, I say that about all my cards, but of course I do think they're adorable. Kind of like children, right? They're all special in their own way. Anyway, my name is Linda Edwards. I'm with Crafty Hair and Designs, and I'm gonna make another one of these cards today, but we're gonna use some different colors. This one is made with two of the new in colors from the 22 to 24 or 23 annual catalog from Stampin Up. This is made with Parakeet Party and Orchid Oasis, which are two of my favorite of the in colors, but we're gonna make it with Tahitian Tide. And rather than sending cheer, we're going to make this a happy birthday card. I'm gonna give you a few tips and tricks on lining up the stamp set, on how to make that bottle look extra special. I don't know if you can see that it's actually got some embossing. It's shiny, clear embossing powder on it. So I hope that you will hang around and that you enjoy this card. And if you do, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up and like and follow me on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're seeing this. So we are using the Bottled Happiness stamp set. As you can see, it's got two size bottles. It comes with a punch that cuts out this bottle, but I'm going to use the smaller one, and we're going to have to fussy cut it. But you can see it's got some great little, you know, sending a message, sending cheer, why not, overflowing with happiness. It's even got a little, like a cork to put in, like for a wine bottle, and a little label. I just thought that one just really spoke to me. So that was one of the first stamp sets that caught my eye on the new Stampin' Up catalog. And then we are using some dies. We're going to use the rectangle stitched die and one of the contour dies from Color and Contour. So these are the measurements. You can go ahead and screenshot that. I will also have these down below in the notes, the show notes, as they say, so that it'll be written up for you so that you can see that. It's very straightforward, as you can see. The basic, I always like to use the thick basic white for my card bases. This is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and it is scored and folded at 4.25, excuse me. The first thing I always like to do is to go ahead and fold and burnish that, and I'm going to set that aside. Then the next, then as far as more of the basic white, this is the triangle, this is the rectangle from the Stitched Rectangles dies. If you don't have the dies, it's basically 2 5/8 by 4 inches. And that's important because it fits right in the Color and Contour piece of Parakeet Party, which is 4.5 by 3.5, and then I cut it with the scallop die. Again, you could just layer it with rectangles if you don't have those dies. And then the card base, or the bottom layer over the card base is Parakeet Party. We're going to use the Parakeet Party with the, it's Tahitian Tide. We're going to use the Tahitian Tide with the Parakeet Party, and this is your standard 5.25 by 4 inches. So nice, simple layering. You can see that that part's going to be really straightforward. And the stamping is what I really want to show you today, because I'm going to show you how to line up the Stamparatus, how to line up that stamp set, because that's really kind of that's really what this card is mostly all about, right? It's just stamping. So let's get started. So I brought in my Stamparatus, and these are photopolymer stamps. So I'm sorry about that glare with the light. There's not much I can do about that. And maybe if I stick this under there, it won't shine on. Oh, that's not any better, is it? Well, I hope it's not too annoying for you. So Stamparatus, I do like to keep these extra papers. We are using the cushion that comes with it because these are photopolymer stamps. I also have this. I got this from Stampin' Storage. I don't remember what it's called, it gives a little bit of a lift. You could use just some cardboard, because when you've got the stamps up close to the hinge, sometimes they don't really want to stamp very well. You have to put a lot of pressure on them. So I find that I use this, I just keep that in there all the time, because I like to push the paper all the way up to the top in the corner, because then when you go ahead and stamp on it, if you need to restamp, it's right there. It's easy to do. So I did already line up the one stamp, but then I decided I wanted to show you kind of what to do. So all I did was I decided that I didn't want it to be in the corner, because I was a little bit afraid that it wouldn't stamp well in the corner. So I wanted it to be up at the top, and that's why I did do the die cutting first. And this is a two-step stamp. You'll see that one of the stamps, this is that stamp there. Maybe I could do that. I don't think you can see that. So the stamp has there's the flowers, and then there's the one with the leaves. So you can kind of tell them apart. This has more of the flowers in it. It doesn't matter which one you do first, either one. I'm gonna start with the flowers, and then I'm gonna line it up to do the leaves. So I knew that I wanted this to have a little bit of room at the top. I didn't really care about the sides, but I'm kind of centering it side to side. So I just basically put that there. And then, like I said, once I lined it up, I kind of marked it for myself, just so that I would know where to put it for you. And if you're doing multiple cards, this is really nice and easy to do it that way. So I'm gonna have the flowers are gonna be the blue. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp that, ink that up, excuse me, and press it down, give it a little back rub, and then lift it up. There you go. And that looks good to me. So now what I'm gonna do is, now I've got the second stamp. Okay, this is the one that's got the leaves on it. And you see it's kind of got this curved shape. This opening is where the kind of the bottle's gonna go in. And what I'm doing is I'm lining up these leaves kind of in between the other flowers. The other thing I'm watching for is the little flower centers. So I'm kind of just, kind of just lining that up. Now you can do this with, without the Stamparatus. You really don't need it. I've done it both ways, but I wanted to kind of show you how you could use the Stamparatus if you're going to do multiples. And what I'm doing is I'm right over the top of it, and I'm looking in, and I'm looking at the flower centers. I don't know if you can see those flower centers, to kind of make sure that they're centered, and then kind of watching my leaves to see that they're kind of in between the flowers. And then I'm going to turn that over and pick it up. Okay, see, it moved, but it'll be okay because I marked it. That was what was important, to mark it, because sometimes they do stick, right? And so I'm going to clear that. And now I'm going to go ahead and put, I also like to put a pad underneath this side, or when you're stamping it, it's nice to have something under the Stamparatus pad. Okay, ink that up. Look at it again. It looks nice and even. And there we go. Voila! I'm very happy with how that turned out. Some of these are a little, that leaf down there is just not, it's a little bit, not happy with the way that one turned out. So I'm going to ink it again one more time. You know, when these new pads are kind of juicy, sometimes they don't really ink very well. Okay, there we go. That's better. I don't know if you could see that. I hope you can see that. Yeah, I think you can. Okay, and now I am going to use the bottle, but I don't really need the Stamparatus for that. So let me go ahead and bring that in, and I'm going to just line this up like this, because this one is really just a placeholder. Because I'm gonna do it again, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. Let's see. I'm just kind of looking to see about where I want that. Okay, and that doesn't matter. That's a little blotchy like that because we're gonna cover it up. But that is sometimes what happens when you've got a brand new stamp set or a brand new ink pad. They can, with a solid color stamp, they can get a little blotchy, but you will see that some of that ink will run and it'll actually all come together before we're all done. And then let me go ahead and clean off my stamps. There and there. And put that aside. Okay, so if you don't have the Stamparatus, think about it. It does make life easier if you're doing, especially if you're doing multiple cards, but sometimes when you're doing that two-step stamping, it really helps as well. So let me set that aside. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna stamp another one of these bottles, and I need my stamping pad because this is a photopolymer stamp, and it was here a moment ago and now it is gone. Does that drive you crazy? Drives me crazy. What on earth do I do with these things? All right, I'll show you a trick. So this is just a piece of cardboard. When I have classes, sometimes I don't have enough stamping pads to use for all the members of the class. So I cut up, this is just corrugated cardboard, and it works beautifully. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna go ahead, let's see, I don't know why, but I wanna do it that way. Press and hold. There we go, okay. So, there, and then the other bit of stamping that I wanna do is my sentiment. And you see I'm gonna use this little die to cut it out. This is from the hydrangea dies. It's just a cute little tag. And then I'm gonna, this one's gonna say hello. I'm just gonna put it in the middle there. There we go. And then let me get this out of the way so that I don't end up with ink all over my fingers. And then I'm gonna cut this out. Now, you see that I didn't have to be too careful where I stamped it as long as it was in the center. And this is probably about an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter. And I'm going to use my new magnetic plate, which I love. As you can see, it's gotten some good use already. And it just holds. It's so wonderful. I don't have to worry about it moving. You know, the old magnetic plates, sometimes things would jump on you. It holds really nicely. And all I'm doing is lining up. I know that I want my hello to be in that direction. So that's the way it's aligned up. And basically just, oh gosh, I hope I don't knock my, knock my camera out of the way. There we go. That over a little bit. Okay, there we go. Cut that out. I really do love this magnetic plate. One other thing I will tell you is that in the directions for the magnetic plate, it says your sandwich, it's incorrect. All you need for the sandwich is you need your base plate, you need the magnetic plate, which is very heavy, and you cut on the gray, the light gray side, not on the silver side. And then you need one additional clear plastic plate. That's it. It's really nice and easy. So it'll save your clear plastic plates too, because you get 2 to a set, and you'll only need 1. Okay, so there's my hello, there's my bottle, and let's see, the other bit of stamping I'm gonna do a little stamping on the inside of the card. So let's go ahead and do that. As I said, I was making this one a birthday card. So I am going to stamp with the green. This is one of the stamps that comes with that stamp set. And it is photopolymer, so I want to make sure that I get this. I'm going to just do a little Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see that. There we go. See, I just did a little thing on the bottom, and then I am using the Go-To Greetings. It has all of these fabulous greetings in lots of different styles. That's where that hello is from. Happy birthday, thinking of you, just a note. So I'm going to use the one of the happy birthdays that comes with this, and this is a cling stamp set, so I don't need to have it on that cardboard. And this is the happy birthday that I'm going to use. This is the middle, this one here. But I really like this. I've already gotten quite a bit of use out of this because, you know, I mainly make birthday cards or thinking of you cards or, you know, thank you. So it's very versatile. And, you know, it's nice to have a few options as far as what fits in a card. The larger one I found I was afraid wouldn't fit so well with this direction, but I think that this one would work beautifully if you did a card this way, right? Because it kind of fills up some more of the space. So I really like having that option. Okay, so that's all of my stamping. If I was gonna always decorate the envelope, I would do another one of the just the little leaf on the outside of the envelope. All right, so now the other thing I'm gonna do is, you know, this is pretty, but a bottle is glossy, right? So what I'm gonna do is I am going to use the clear embossing powder to make this shiny. There are a couple of different options, things you can do. Right now, I think the clear embossing powder is kind of the easiest way to do it. But we used to have, and you may still have in your stash, the glossy accents. That would work as well. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do some embossing. I haven't actually done embossing on a video before, and usually I just kind of do it and off camera. But I thought, you know, if you're new to stamping, this may be something that you're not familiar with. So I am using Versamark ink. It is a clear, I got a bunch of goop on it, but it seems to be still working okay. I did some gold embossing for my son's wedding invitations, and that powder went all over. So I'm gonna have to get a new stamp. But anyway, so this is Versamark ink. It's a watermark stamp pad, and it's just clear. It's kind of like a glue. And I am going to go ahead and stamp on just on top of this ink. And because it's a photopolymer stamp, I can see through it, so I can just line it up. I mean, certainly I could have used the Stamparatus, but for what I'm doing here, it's not really that important. Okay. You know, like if it's a little bit off, it's not gonna matter because we're gonna cut it out anyway. So give it a good go. Okay, so now it's sticky. Doesn't really look like much, but wait till you see the magic happen. So this is clear embossing powder, and I'm just using a little kind of a tray, and then I use coffee filters to kind of catch the powder. And you can see how that, it's just clear powder, and then see how it's kind of dull? And I'm gonna put this back in here so that I don't waste it. All right, now it's gonna get a little noisy, so you might want to turn down your volume. But so I'm gonna bring in this heat gun. Oh, and it doesn't quite, maybe I can. Forgot to test it. It might not reach under the camera, but I'm gonna bring in the heat gun, and it's gonna be loud. It's got the Stampin' Up Heat Gun has two settings. Make sure you're on the highest setting. Okay, you can see me a little bit. So here we go. And I got this tray. It was actually from Goodwill. It's just a metal tray, but it's kind of nice to keep the heat from harming my tabletop. And it's still heating up. It takes a takes about 30 seconds or so to actually heat up. And then once it does, there we go. Can you see? I don't know if you can see that. It gets shiny. That's it. So now, see how shiny that is? And what I'm looking for is to see if there are any kind of dull areas that aren't shiny yet, and I don't see any. It all looks good and shiny to me. So now I would set that aside for, just a little bit to make sure it's good and dry before I fussy cut it. So I went ahead and I did one earlier, and just so that you didn't have to wait for that fussy cutting. What I should have done was probably embossed it first and then put everything together. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, now we are ready to assemble our card. All the hard stuff is done. It's very straightforward from here on out. Just a little bit of liquid glue or whatever your adhesive of choice is. And the first layer is right there. And then I am going to put this layer on the next. So we did a similar card in one of my card classes. I do card classes here in the Greensboro area for local folks. I would love to have you, if you're in the area, would love to have you join us. We have a lot of fun in our low card classes, and it's a great way to meet people and to share, some things that you love to do. Just share some time. Very low key. Okay, so you can find out information about my classes on my Facebook page and on my website. And the links to all of that are on the in both of those locations. Okay, I'm distracted. So you don't have to tie it around, but because I'm going to put this on dimensionals and I'm going to raise it up, I'm going to go ahead and use this twine. Now this is one of the in colors, the Baker's Twine in colors, and this is that Parakeet Party. And you can either just make a bow and stick it on with glue dot. That works very well. Or what I'm gonna try and do is make a little bow. I went around, as you saw, I went around the neck of the bottle and there we go, good. Okay. Baker's twine is really easy to work with, although it does like to curl when you pull it through to make it shorter. So I try to untwist it. See how it's twisting like that? I try to kind of hold it. See how I'm holding it with my thumb? Trying to get it so it doesn't twist so much. There we go. Head over that way. And a lot of times I'll just hold it with a glue dot. There we go. There we go. That one's good, but that one does not want to cooperate, does it? I'll hold it down with the glue dot and it'll be just fine. Sometimes you just gotta manhandle it a little bit. I don't want that bow to be too big because the bottle's not too big, so I'm gonna have that scale. There we go. Maybe just a little bit more. And I will just cut that there, and then I'm gonna put that on dimensionals, and then I'm gonna attach the little tag. Two little dimensionals. Maybe I'll do a small one under here. Yeah, make sure I have that where I want it so that it stays. Okay. So you see how I kind of have the bow off to the side, and I'm just kind of put that kind of centered right over the stamped. And then this, I'm gonna just kind of tuck it in there. I'm not going to put it over. I'm just gonna tuck it in there. So I need glue on this side or a glue dot, and I can put a little small dimensional up in this corner because it's up higher than the, see how that's gonna go? Because that's gonna sit up. So glue dot on this side. All right. And then I want it to be kind of tucked under my bow. But I want you to be able to see the hello. There we go. What do you think? Isn't that cute? Now, you know, you could fancy it up. You could do some things around the outside. You know, you could use a designer series paper as the background. There's a lot that you can do to sprinkle this, to make this a little bit more, you know, to step it up, as we say. You can certainly add some bling, but I just think it's really simple and straightforward. I like this little shininess to the bottle, and so I'm going to leave it just the way it is. So I hope that you have enjoyed my little crafting card today. And if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you would like any of the items that I showed today in the card class, I would love to help you unleash your inner creativity. If you've enjoyed what you see, please follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. Commenting helps other people find me, so I would appreciate it if you would leave a comment as well. And I hope that you spend some time crafting and creating. And then not only that, but send those cards. Send them, because that's why we do this, and people love to get them, and you just bring a smile to someone's face. So, bye-bye for now. See you soon.